So after a very interesting first session, we have a wonderful theme now on which Swami Satyeshananda Maharaj will be speaking. So I would not like to, he has many things, he has a PowerPoint presentation as well. So I would not take any time. I'll just introduce him brief. He has sent a very brief introduction, though many things can be said about him, about his spiritual as well as other attainments in the mission. He has done wonderful work in the mission, as well as a very good monk of our order. Anyway, I'll just read out what he has sent. He's a very humble person, very humble monk. So he's Swami Satyeshananda is an Assistant General Secretary of the Ramakrishna Math and Ramakrishna Mission at Belur Math. It's a very important position. He is one of the 4 Assistant General Secretaries who oversees the entire administration of Ramakrishna Mission and Ramakrishna Math activities worldwide. So specific departments are there. So one of the departments that he's overseeing, not only in India but all over the world, wherever these activities take place, is medical and other relief activities of the Ramakrishna Mission. So we thought that he should be speaking on the theme. The topic that has been given to him is 125 years of medical and other relief activities of the Ramakrishna Mission, the challenges and achievements. Medical activities was included specifically because Swami Satyeshananda has, after completing his MBBS, he is a qualified doctor. After completing his MBBS from the Government Medical College in Mysore, he served as a physician at Belur Math, and then Ramakrishna Mission TB Sanatorium at Ranchi, which is also a pioneering institution. Then in Jharkhand, Ranchi. Then Ramakrishna Mission Sevashram, which is in Kankhal, Haridwar, from 1987 to 2008. For a very long time, he was involved in so many medical activities. As you all know, there are a lot of medical activities, hospitals, which cater to the needs of the underprivileged people in different parts of India, mainly India. Afterwards, after serving in these institutions, this pioneering institution, Kankhal is one of the oldest hospitals, started under the inspiration of Swamiji himself. And from 1987 to 2008, he has served in the medical field, and then he was in charge of the Ramakrishna Mission District Tuberculosis and Medical Center in Karol Bagh, New Delhi. It's also a very old center which caters to the underprivileged people in Delhi and other areas, especially in the field of tuberculosis. And they have done pioneering work there, and he served there also. Then he was then posted to Sri Ramakrishna Vidyashala, Mysore, which is his hometown, and he studied in Mysore, did his medical studies there. And then after that, he was posted as the head of Ramakrishna Mission Ashrama in Chandigarh up to April 2019, and he has built a beautiful temple. He was instrumental in building a beautiful temple. It was a long-standing desire of the devotees of Chandigarh, Chandigarh being the capital of both Haryana and Punjab. A temple was needed, and due to certain restrictions, it could not be built, but he successfully built a beautiful temple and a shrine, a prayer hall, and so many other buildings, activities. After that, before that, in 1988, whenever he got a chance, he participated in the drought relief work at Barmer in Rajasthan. So that is much before he went to Chandigarh. And in 1990 also, the cyclone relief work at Vishakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. So he has a wonderful background of both the medical activities and also the relief and rehabilitation work. And in fact, now he is heading as an Assistant General Secretary. He oversees all the relief activities, relief and rehabilitation, which is a huge, big activity. He has to visit all these sites, all the different states of India in connection with these relief activities. So since May 19, he was appointed as a trustee of the Ramakrishna Mission, and he has been at Belur Math as one of the 4 assistant general secretaries of Ramakrishna Math and Ramakrishna Mission. He is responsible for all the organizations, both in India as well as abroad. So we would now, without taking, because he has a wonderful PowerPoint presentation, which I will share the screen, and whenever he says, and he will just ask me to change the slides, I'll do it. It will give you a very good picture of the philosophy and the wonderful work that has been done based on the philosophy of service activities of Sri Ramakrishna, and then carried out into practice by Swami Vivekananda and the other direct disciples. So over to Swami Satyeshananda Maharaj.
Namaskars to all of you, and respectful pranams to Swami Sarvastananji for his kind words. In fact, he don't deserve anything. It is the Ramakrishna Order's tradition that all the things are overseen, carried out by Sri Ramakrishna, Mother and Swamiji directly through us. We are just instruments. They can choose anybody as their instruments. It is just that they have chosen us. It is their infinite grace, unconditional mercy. Even though we don't deserve, that is an account of their unconditional mercy, love. So, regarding these two subjects, medical as well as relief activities, it's a very responsible job, as Sarvastananji told, and that huge accountability is there. But as Sri Ramakrishna himself founded this order, this has a divine origin. So all these things are happening by the grace of Sri Ramakrishna Mother and Swamiji, and we are fortunate to be their instruments, however weak and inefficient we are. So this is a very fascinating story, how medical service activities evolved over these 125 years. We all know Swami Vivekananda was born to rich parents. His father was a Vishwanath Datta. He was an attorney, a very wealthy man, a highly accomplished person. His father, Vishwanath Datta. So he had that aristocratic background, Swamiji Narendranath. He had a robust physique, a very healthy body. He had his father and mother had ensured that Narendranath got the best of education, best of food, nutrition, everything, music, gymnastics, sports, of science, arts, studies, everything Swamiji had excelled because of his parents' efforts. So Swamiji naturally had a very healthy body, robust physique, and a brilliant razor-sharp intellect. He had mastered everything, Eastern and Western philosophy, psychology, history, multifaceted genius. So this Narendranath, after Sri Ramakrishna's passing away, Sri Ramakrishna himself entrusted this mission. Naren, you have to regenerate India, rejuvenate India, because you know India was under foreign subjugation for nearly 1,000 years. Waves after waves of foreign invasion came and plundered Indian wealth. So the Indian coffers, India had become very poor. Indians had become malnourished, severely malnourished. There was no food, frequent famines, frequent epidemics like cholera, malaria, and all. So it had shattered India's financial as well as physical health. And Swamiji, after Sri Ramakrishna's passing away, he traveled the entire length and breadth of India. He wanted to have a first-hand knowledge of India's situation. So he traveled everywhere. He covered the entire distance on foot and sometimes by train. So he was shocked, appalled to see the poverty, the sickness, the backwardness, the ignorance of people. So it really shook him to his roots. So when he reached Kanyakumari, he meditated for 3 days and nights on how to rejuvenate Mother India, how to revive India's glory again. So he said, I hit upon a plan sitting on the last tip of Indian rock. Then he went to United States, and the rest is history. So whenever he traveled, he saw this appalling poverty and sickness. So This is one of the reasons why our health, Ramakrishna Mission's health activities were initiated. Swami Vivekananda gave a lot of importance on health, comprehensive health. He was a visionary and intensely practical. Swami Ji had the best of Eastern and Western education. He was grounded in Eastern as well as in the Western education. He had the best of both the East and the West, the best of Eastern Western culture, education, bringing everything Swamiji had, that Western spirit of equality, freedom, strength, a spirit of inquiry, and at the same time, in Indian spirituality means the serenity, calmness, renunciation, all those uh, uh, qualities were beautifully blended in Swamiji. It was a perfect harmony. It was a synthesis of all these great virtues. So Swamiji gave a lot of importance on health, physical health and mental health. So physical health, he would say Sharira Madhyam Khalu Dharma Sadhanam. He would quote Kalidasa. This is the vehicle, body is the vehicle given to us by the Almighty, with the help of which we can cross this ocean of life and this transmigratory existence. We can bring an end to this suffering of transmigratory existence, life, death, rebirth, again, life, death. So the cycle will come to an end when we will be able to realize our true nature, infinite nature, with the help of a strong body. So he wanted us to be strong and healthy. So when he and from in United States, he had seen how people were well nourished and healthy physically. So he would write letters to his brother disciples: buy filters, drink pure water, then take care of your health, take regular physical exercises. Even he was very particular about food, how to he emphasized that you must avoid high calorie food, is all deep, oily, oil fried and all. He would say sweet meats and all those instructions Swamiji has given. So one day it so happened, he told Kalyananandji. Kalyan was his disciple. Before that, this is a fascinating story. Varanasi, home of service, how it started. Now it has some 150, 200 beds. How it began. There was a young man full of ideals. His name was Jamini Ranjan. Yamini Ranjan in Bangladesh was known as Jamini Ranjan. He was on his way to Ganga to take bath, to have a dip in the holy Ganga. That is the tradition in Varanasi. Everybody goes in the morning, most of them, and have a dip in the Ganga. So on his way, he saw an old woman completely covered with feces and urine. She was groaning. He went near her. She said, "My son, I have not eaten for the last 4 days. I am lying here, lying down here. I am on my deathbed. Nobody is listening to my cries." Then Jamini Ranjan immediately went there, begged money from somebody, and fed her. And then he had a group. Friends were there with high ideals, young people with ideals, idealists. So they all other the names of the other two young men. One is Charu Chandra and another was Kedarnath Malik. He went on to become one of the great Swamis of the Ramakrishna order, Swami Achalananda, Kedar Baba Maharaj, and then Swami Shubhananda. He became Swami Shubhananda, this Charu Chandra. So they had a meeting, and they were already inspired by Swamiji's ideals of service and Tyaga, service and renunciation. So they wanted to translate this. So they raised money and they formed an association. That association's name was Poor Men's Relief Association. Poor Men's Relief Association. So they raised money, and from a humble beginning, so they had a house. Then they started admitting patients day by day. Their work was growing, and people recognized it, appreciated it, and funds also started flowing. And Swamiji himself went there in 1902 to Varanasi, and he was so happy to see these young men doing this work. And that time, Indians were already slaves of the British Empire. They had lost all their individuality, that sense of respect, everything Indians had lost. They had no spine, no backbone. So next to they were leading a peaceful existence, means next uh, roots, like, so there was absolutely no no organized way of service, but these young men started this Poor Men's Relief Association. Swami Vivekananda was very happy to see this and said, "My boys, this is a very good very good venture you have undertaken. I want you to change the name of the institution, your organization. Let it be Home of Service, Home of Service. So this should be a temple of service, Home of Service." Then Swamiji himself wrote an appeal pamphlet he published. He um, gave it to his friends and well-wishers, got it circulated among the citizens of Varanasi. So there he said, these young men are doing wonderful work, because Varanasi is a place of pilgrimage. We all know, one of, I think, the most holy, the holiest pilgrimage center for Indians. So people would go there to spend their last days and die there uncared. Absolutely nobody would be there to take care of their needs, attend on them. So it was a very pitiable condition. So Swamiji said, "You work for them." He issued an appeal. So funds started flowing, and it became Ramakrishna Mission Home of Service. And the beautiful story, very inspiring story, is Mother herself, Holy Mother herself, went there in 1912. She was taken around. Swami Brahmananji also was there. Holy Mother Sharda Devi said, "I see Thakur himself living here. I find Sri Ramakrishna's living presence here. And Mother Lakshmi, she herself is residing here." So she sent a small donation, a token donation of rupees 10, 10 rupees that time. So even today, that note, that currency is preserved as Mother's blessing. That is how Mother was so happy to see these young men doing work, taking care of the widows there. And Mother said, "You're doing Lord's work." So that is how this Varanasi home of service was built. It came up. And next, almost simultaneously, this Kankal Sevashrama came up. Kankal Haridwar, another place of pilgrimage. Swami Vivekananda himself used to wander. He loved Uttarakhand, that is Devbhumi, this areas like Uttarkashi, Rishikesh, Gangotri, Yamunotri, all Indians, especially those who are interested in this ascetic life, ascetics, those who want to be renunciates or ascetics or monks, usually they go there and do tapasya. So Swamiji himself had traveled a lot there along with Sharat Chandra Gupta, one of his disciples, then Swami Akhandanandji and all had traveled there. So Swamiji himself had fallen prey to these diseases like malaria, typhoid, cholera, and all. He had suffered very much because of inclement weather and contamination of food and water. So Swamiji had suffered from food poisoning, malaria, etc., repeatedly, and his health was shattered. So he knew these monks, these sannyasis, these ascetics in this Devabhumi, Uttarakhand, should be taken care. So should be provided medical care. So with great love and compassion, he told Kalyanananji, "Kalyan, can you go there for this little money and serve those ascetics there, those who want to meditate, those who want to spend their lives in solitude and tapasya, and those who want to realize God through meditation, tapasya, practicing austerities, they are there lying uncared for, unattended. There's nobody to take care of them. So you go and serve them, give them food, give them water, give them medicines." So that is how Kalyananandji went there in 1901 to Haridwar. Kankal was a small village there. He started a small dispensary, homeopathic dispensary, with just a medical tool. Some homeopathic medicines were there and a little water and whatever food that was available. He used to take care of these sadhus, ascetics there, and poor people. And then he was joined by Swami Nishchayananda, Nishchay Maharaj, Suraj Raj Maharaj. He was Swamiji's disciple. He was in Indian Army. So he was inspired by Swamiji's idea of service. Swamiji had sent him there. So both of them did superhuman work, unbelievable work. You can't even imagine how much suffering they undertook. They went through terrible ordeal. There is a place called Rishikesh. Many of you must be knowing. One is Haridwar and Rishikesh. The distance is about 25 kilometers. Every morning, these two monastic brothers would set out and by foot they would walk to Rishikesh attend to patients there, serve them, and again come back because their base was in Kankal, Haridwar. So going and coming back to and fro was a distance of about 50 kilometers. So on foot, they would go and serve them. And because Swamiji's command, Swamiji's wish, Swamiji, their guru, whatever Swamiji has told me, that is Vedavak. It is everything for them. It was everything for them. And those people, their Sadhu Samaj, means the groups, the association of sadhus, that they did not recognize their greatness. They thought they are all bhangi sadhus, means scavenger sadhus. They are really not, they are not sadhus, they are not monks. They don't spend their time in meditation and spiritual practice, other spiritual practices. They waste their time in taking care of the patients, in cleaning them, in what do you call, taking away their filth, urine, disposing this waste disposal, feces disposal, urine disposal. They're industry. They're busy with. They're busy with these activities. They are not spiritual practices. So they were called bhangi, means outcast sadhus, good for nothing, low grade sadhus, low grade monks. They were considered. One day, a very interesting incident took place that opened the eyes of these sadhus, other sadhus. There was a great sadhu, a great monk, a leader of this Samaj, Sadhu Samaj, that congregation. He was called Mahamandaleshwar. They are called Mahamandaleshwars. Even today they are there. So one Dhanrajgiri was a great sadhu, Mahamandaleshwar, the head of the sadhus congregation there. He was invited for a bhandara, means feast, arranged for sadhus. Some householder devotees would donate money, arranging feast for sadhus, wherein they would be fed delicacies like sweets and puris and other things. So Mahamandaleshwar Dhanrajgiri was sitting there. He was surprised to see these two Ramakrishna Mission sadhus were not, they're not invited. He asked, where are those two sadhus, young sadhus, Kalyananand and Nishchana? So then the other sadhu said, Maharaj, they are bhangi sadhus, they are outcast sadhus, they're really not sadhus. They are busy with the cleaning the filth of the patients, they are taking care of them. So they are really not sadhus. So that is why we have not invited. Then Pandit, this Mahamandaleshwar Dhanrajgiri became very grave. He said, I will not take food unless they are invited. So the entire Sadhu Samaj, their eyes were opened. So because he himself was a great man, this Dhanrajgiri, he knew Swami Vivekananda, his great contribution to the entire world. So he said, unless these two sadhus are invited, I will not touch food. So they were forced to bring them, invite them, and Dhanrajgiri made them sit with him, made them nicely, fed them, and he also partook of the food. So that is how the story goes. Then they got recognition. And slowly, slowly, tuberculosis ward was built. Brahmanji went there. So that is a beautiful history of Kankal Sevashrama. Fascinating history written by Swami Kirtidanandji also has written. Swami Sarvaganandaji, Swami Sarvagatanandji was the head of Boston Center. So Swamiji had told, you will be a Paramahamsa to Kalyanani. That's how the service, medical activities began in Kankal. That is Haridwar. And then we will in Vrindavan, another great place of pilgrimage where Sri Krishna sported there with the gopis. Very sacred place, Vrindavan in Mathura district in Uttar Pradesh. There Brahmachari Harendra was sent from Belur Math. There he started in, we all know about Balram Basu. He was a great householder disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. He had a house called, mansion called Kalava Bukun. There this dispensary was started slowly. And as you know, from humble beginning, began and slowly it grew into a big hospital with a lot of facilities. And similarly, a very interesting, fascinating story in Kashi, Varanasi, that is Banaras, home of service. The head was Swami Satyanandji. This incident took place in 1938 or 39. So his pre-monastic name was Satish. He was lovingly called by Satish Maharaj by everybody. His sannyas name was Swami Satyananda. He was the head of the Varanasi home of service. That time, tuberculosis was rampant all over the world. Even these medicines like streptomycin, INH, isoniazid were not discovered. So, one particular brahmachari, a monastic novice, he used to take care of the patients there, work in the wards. He contracted tuberculosis. That time, there was no medicine, and only food and food was the treatment. Give him nourishing food, and if he survives, the survival rate was very, very poor. Mortality rate was very high. And that brahmachari, because tuberculosis is still a contagious disease, a highly infectious disease, he was isolated. So he was taking care of everybody, but now he himself was infected with tuberculosis. He was kept in a room, separate room. Nobody would go there. He would be given food from a distance. Some ward boy or somebody would come and keep the food at the doorstep and then would go away. Nobody would come near him because everybody would be frightened, mortally afraid. This is a fatal disease, and if we also go near him, we will catch the disease and we will also be afflicted with this. So that was in that time it was practically incurable. It was called consumption disease, galloping consumption means it would consume the patient completely. Kshaya Rog means the patient would die, decay and die. So this was a very pitiable situation, and Swami Satyananda, Satish Maharaj saw his brahmachari who had worked so hard for the welfare of the other patients. He had taken care of them. Now he is absolutely unattended. He has become an outcast. Everybody has isolated him. So he felt very bad for that young brahmachari, young monastic novice. What he did was he brought him to his personal room, his living room, arranged a bed for him, and fed him without any fear. And that brahmachari did not survive. He died on his lap, on the head's lap. He was like his son, so he died on his lap. This brahmachari who was afflicted with tuberculosis, and that shook him, that moved Swami Satyananda. So what he did, he made a firm resolution. He resolved that I must build a hospital for tuberculosis patients where they are treated with dignity and respect. So he traveled that time. Traveling facility mode of communication travel was very poor in 1940s, and Second World War was in was raging. Second World War from 1939 to 1945. So, but that did not deter him. He traveled from Varanasi to Ranchi in Jharkhand. Ranchi was known for its salubrious climate. That time, tuberculosis, he knew that sanatoria, if the patients are kept in sanatoria, in sanatorium, where good climate, bracing climate, and good food, patients will recover. So he went and knocked at the door of a big landlord, big landlord, a zamindar. He had plenty of land. So, these landlords in 1940s, feudal landlords. So a servant was there, the watchman, sentry, doorkeeper. He said, Sadhu, Maharaj, why are you here? I'm here to meet your Malik, means your owner, the landlord. So the landlord was conveyed this message by the sentry, by the watchman. He said, "What does the sadhu, what does the monk want? Give him food and clothes and send him away. That's all the monks want, bare necessities." So the sentry, the watchman came and told, "Take this food and clothes and go." This sadhu said, "No, I have not come here for this. I have come here to meet your Lord, to meet your owner, to meet the owner of this house, to meet the landlord." So again, the watchman went and conveyed this message to his owner. Sir, he does not want to go. This monk is a peculiar type of man. He appears to be strange, eccentric. He is not accepting food. He is not accepting clothes. He doesn't want to leave the place unless he meets you. So, sir, you have to come and meet. So this landlord came reluctantly and said, "Why are you here? Why are you disturbing me, Maharaj? I am busy with my work, and take this food and go away." The sadhu said, "No, I don't want this. I want a plot of land." He was surprised. "Why? Are you going to marry and have a household here?" "No. I'm going to build a house. I'm going to build a tuberculosis sanatorium for tuberculosis patients. And that struck a chord because very recently this landlord, a big landlord, had lost one of his children for this tuberculosis, on account of tuberculosis. Tuberculosis had killed one of his children, and he was deeply touched. So immediately he granted some 36 acres of land that time. So it's all divine miracle. So similarly, in tuberculosis center in Delhi and slowly Trivandrum, Swami Tapasyanandaji, great tapasya, and then in Arunachal Pradesh, we have Itanagar, in Narayanpur, Swami Atmananji did phenomenal work. It's a tribal area infested with Naxalites. Even today, people dread to go there. Even police officials, cops, they fear, they don't want to enter that area. So Abuj murder means unknown mountains. So this Swami Atmananji and his friends and his brothers and all went there and started pioneering work, tribal work. They started a very uh, modern hospital in Narayanpur. So Ponnampe, Trivandrum, Lucknow also has a super specialty hospital. So that is how the history of Ramakrishna Mission medical services, because Swamiji wanted every one of us to be healthy physically and mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So basic needs, everybody should get physical these medical health, proper food, nutrition, diet. That is how this service of God in man, Shivagnani Jiva Seva. That is how it started. I think I have covered hospital medical side. So Prasananji, hello.
Yeah, yeah. Can you hear me now? So
Yes, yes, I'm
will we
able to hear
start
you.
the PowerPoint presentation now for the
Yes, yes,
relief
yes.
activities, or you want to give
I,
an introduction?
and introduction. Yes, I will just
Or
introduce this
uh,
relief
when,
activities. Of course.
whenever you tell me, I will start the
Yeah,
PPT. I will
yeah,
share the
yeah.
screen. Yes.
So, relief today is May 1st. Exactly on May 1st, 1897, this Ramakrishna Mission was started. Association was started by Swami Vivekananda at Balram Mandir, all of that. And exactly 15 days later, Swami Akhandanandji had gone on a pilgrimage to the districts of Nadia and Murshidabad in West Bengal, because Swamiji had gone to Darjeeling. He missed Swamiji very much, and he felt the pangs of agony in his heart, Akhandanandji, because Akhandanandji, Gangadhar Maharaj, loved Swamiji intensely, and Swamiji also had deep love for Ganges, his beloved brother disciple, Akhandanand. So Akhandanandji was on his pilgrimage on his way to Nadia in Murshidabad district. While he was traveling there, he came across a little Muslim girl. She was in tears. She was weeping inconsolably. This Swami Akhandanandji was full of compassion. He said, "My dear, why are you weeping?" She said, "Maharaj, this earthenware pot, now it's broken, and if I go there, mother will beat me. She's at home, she will fly into a rage, and I don't have money to buy." And she had no clothes, rag, unkempt hair, disheveled hair, malnourished. So Akhandanandji was moved by this sight. He gave her little money, whatever money he had, purchased a little puff rice, fed them. So many came screaming for food, begging for food. So he wanted to leave, but he could not. Sri Ramakrishna appeared to him in a dream and said, "You stay here and serve." Akhandanandji wrote to Ramakrishna for financial help. It was in Chennai, Madras at that time. Ramakrishna said, "We are fakirs, we are beggars, we ourselves don't have money. How can we serve? Then we don't have finance. So come, go back to Mutt, Belur Mutt." That time there was no Belur Mutt, it was Alam Bazar Mutt. Then Brahmananji also disobeyed Akhandanandji. "You come back, we have no funds now." But Swamiji, after hearing this, immediately sent 150 rupees and two workers, two manas help. So Akhandanandji continued his work in a village called Mahula. Now this is Sargachi Ashram. So this Akhandanandji did a lot of work in Kheti, in Rajputana and Gujarat. Gujarat, he was very much inspired by Chandu but Vittalji. He was a great doctor, Ayurvedic physician, this Chandu but Vittalji of Jamnagar. He was a householder, but he would keep patients in his own house, home. He would feed them, give them medicines. And Akhandanandji was very much impressed, inspired by this Chandu Bhatt Vittalji. He would recall this Chandu Bhatt Vittalji would pray, Lord, I don't want heaven, I don't want wealth, I don't want anything. I just want to see that the sufferings of human beings are removed, that the human beings be free from all suffering. That Ranti Deva's prayer. There was a great man in Bhagavatam, I think it comes, Ranti Deva was a great thing. So he would pray like this: I don't want anything, Lord. I just want this. You please fulfill my prayer. With the sufferings of human beings, various kinds of sufferings are there. People are in terrible misery. So let their misery, suffering be removed. So Swami Akhandanandji was very much inspired by this Zandu Bhat Vittalji, Zandu Bhat Vittalji. So then we see in 1999, 1899, Swamiji was in Darjeeling, plague broke out, famine, plague epidemic. It was a kind of pandemic. It killed so many people. People were fleeing in panic. Then Swamiji came from Darjeeling and he wrote a beautiful appeal. He gave strength to people, asked them not to flee. And he organized that relief work with the help of Sister Nivedita. Sister Nivedita and Swami Sadananda, he did superhuman work, amazing work, without any consideration for their own lives, because plague itself was very infectious, bubonic plague and pulmonic plague. So anybody coming in contact with these plague patients, it's a sure thing. They would also get, but without any care for their own life. Sister Nivedita, Sadhananda, and all worked and cleaned the slum areas, shanties, ensured that everything was kept clean and neat, and plague was brought under control. So that is how the relief work started. And mothers, holy mothers' sagacity saved this Ramakrishna mission, because the moment plague relief comes, this incident has to be told, and retold. Because how Sharda Devi, Mother Sharda Devi, nurtured and saved this Ramakrishna mission. Ramakrishna mission would have gone long ago during this particular plague relief, because Sister Nivedita, Sadanand, they all worked tirelessly day and night, and there was no money left. So they went and told Swamiji, Swamiji, we don't have money to conduct relief operations. What to do? Now the relief operations by force will have to be stopped midway. Then Swamiji was a very large-hearted man like Shiva. He would not care for anything, not care for his personal comforts. Very large-hearted man, uh, full of compassion. Swamiji said, "We are monks. We are supposed to live under trees and big arms from house to house. Why should we need this Belur Math property? Let me sell this Belur Math property, and from the money that comes from this sale deeds, we will do relief work." So other brother monks were stunned. If such a thing happens, then where will we go? How will Thakur service continue? Sri Ramakrishna's worship continue? Sri Ramakrishna's relics are there, everything is there now. All of a sudden, if Swamiji makes this decision, so it's a very difficult situation. So the news reached Holy Mother Sharda Devi. Then Sharda Devi said, Naren, you should not do this. You should not sell Belur Math. You want funds for your relief activities? Funds will come. And from Belur Math, so many relief operations, welfare activities, humanitarian projects happen. So don't worry about funds, but you should not sell Belur Math. This does not belong to you, it belongs to Sri Ram. Otherwise, Swamiji would have sold it. Nobody had the guts, nobody had the courage to go and tell Swamiji, Swamiji, don't do this. Only Mother had that sagacity, that wisdom, that guts. And Swamiji would argue with Sri Ramakrishna, would quarrel with Sri Ramakrishna, but he never argued with Holy Mother. He was a totally obedient, completely obedient child for Mother. He was an obedient child of Holy Mother. The moment Mother told, money will come to you for your relief operations. Don't worry about money and continue your work. Don't sell Belur. That's how mothers save. And for our relief operations, our Swami Akhandananji is considered the guardian angel, patron saint. So last 125 years, Akhandananji himself, he was the president of the Ramakrishna Order in 1937, 34 to 38, 37. He was the president after Shivananji is passing away. Devastating earthquake took place in Bihar near Bhagalpur. Akhandananji himself went there in his ripe old age and conducted relief operations. So, so that is how the history starts. And since then, so many relief operations have occurred. Then 1947, this partition relief, refugee in Kurukshetra, there in East Pakistan. Then 1945, Burma evacuation. Bhutesh Anandji was there in this northeast, Guwahati, Shillong. Then so many relief, tsunami, Gujarat earthquake relief. Our Sarvastananji himself has done a lot of relief work in Gujarat, that area, Limdi. So continuously, one after the other. And here in West Bengal, this Gangetic belt. So every year cyclones occur. It's an annual event. The cyclones happen regularly along the east coast also, Vishakhapatnam, Telangana, that east coast area and west coast also. So that is how relief operations happen. Now we will show you some slides.
Yes, Maharaj.
Anant Maharaj, you can show some
Yes,
slides.
yes. I am sharing the screen, and you can tell
Hello?
me to change the slide. Whenever you say, I will
Hello?
change the slide. Yeah. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me, Maharaj? Can you hear me?
You can start showing.
Yeah, I'm showing. Yeah. Just give me 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute, Maharaj. I'm slightly. Yeah. Yes, we can start, Maharaj. Maharaj, you can continue. Hello. Maharaj, can you hear me? Maharaj, you can please continue. I have set up the slides. I think. Yeah, Maharaj, you can start. Maharaj, please start. Please start your audio.
Yeah, I have started.
Yeah, you continue now. I'll change the slide. You just continue.
Oh, okay.
So I'll change the slide now. Yeah.
Yeah. I will just fix this. 1 second.
Yeah.
1 second. Some network problem is there, I think, here.
We can hear you, Maharaj. You can continue.
Okay.
You just
No,
continue.
I'm not able to see you. I'm not able to see the slides.
No, you don't have to see. You can see the slides.
I'm not able to see the slides.
Now the first slide is going on. Anyway, I don't know why you're not able to see. Okay. Now are you able to see the slides?
1 second.
Are you able to see the slides now?
Oh. I'm able to hear you, but slides, no.
You yourself can explain. There is nothing. You can just show the slides. That's all.
No, you continue. I will show the slide. you just go on telling. First is, I will give up 20,000 bodies to help one man. It is glorious to help even one man. You just one after another. I will read out the slide. I think you should be able to see. I don't know, something is wrong with your video, I think. Anyway, you please continue, Maharaj. Thakur's photo with "I will give up 20,000 bodies to help one man. It is glorious to help even one man."
Yeah. I'm trying once more in this phone. Yeah, 1 second. Just 1 second.
We are able to hear you. We can
I'm
even
able to
see
hear
you.
you.
We can see you. We
I
can
don't know,
hear you.
some problem has happened. Yes. You are able to hear me now?
Yes, I'm able to hear you. Please start. Yeah.
So the philosophy behind our relief activities is this. Sri Ramakrishna's famous speech. I will give up 20,000 bodies to help one man. It is glorious to help even one man. Next slide.
Next slide. Okay.
Next is mother on medical relief service. Mother always encouraged relief activities. She said, once Swami Saradananji had gone to Puri, Orissa, to oversee relief of operations in 1918. So mother told one of her disciples, Prabodh Chattopadhyay, Sharat, she would call Saradananji lovingly, Sharat. Sharat is a large-hearted person. He is a very big-hearted person. And his heart cries out for the suffering beings. He's suffering, he's serving and feeding all like a protector. Then mother prayed to Thakur, Sri Ramakrishna, Thakur, I can't see or hear of people's suffering. Please remove people's misery and pain. Please supply Sharat with everything. Give him plenty so that he can provide enough for everybody. So that is how mother's prayer. Mother's prayer is taking care of our relief activities. Next slide. Next. For this also, I'm not able to see. Hello.
Can you see now?
Hello?
The poor, the literate,
No.
illiterate, the ignorant, the afflicted. Let these be your God. Know that service to these alone is the highest religion.
Yeah, Akhandananji Maharaj said, Akhandananji. Swamiji said, no? Swamiji.
Swami Vivekananda said, yes.
Yeah. You can change. Next slide.
Yeah. Akhandanji said, now I see God living in all human beings, and I have realized that service to man is service to God. God, as it were, is whispering in my ears. Verily, these human beings are the Vedic sages. They are divine incarnations like Rama and Krishna. They are everything. This is Akhandananda.
Yes. Next slide. Next slide.
is in Bengali, of course, Swami Premanandji. So
that's a very beautiful incident. Premanandji Maharaj was once somebody said we will not be able to go for relief operations. There is so much of work here at Belur Math. Then Premanandji said, I will take care of the entire Belur Math. You proceed for relief work. And then he told, that is written in Bengali, original Bangla, he told, see, these things, these rice, food, water, clothes, everything, we procure them with the help of the householders. So what will you give? You give them love. You serve them with love and gratitude because they have given you an opportunity to serve. So with love, you must serve them. So he would say, and you will never get such an opportunity to serve. Because you have come here to Sri Ramakrishna, you are under his shelter, you will get plenty of opportunities. Had you been outside in the world, you wouldn't have been able to do like this. You wouldn't have been able to serve. So this is a great opportunity for you to serve. That is how he would tell you. Yes.
Next is Swami Saradananda. There's no quote here.
Swami Saradananda, yes. He was, he as the secretary of the Ramakrishna order, he took care of all our relief activities. Next slide.
Swami Vireshwaran.
Vireshwarananji, it so happened on a number of occasions, he sent his own sevaks to do relief work. One of his sevaks, Barin Maharaj, lives in Arogyavan. He himself told me, Vireshwarananji was very particular about relief work because this problem, chronic problem of monastic shortage of hands, because everybody is busy with his own work in the branch centers. We don't have a separate force, relief force. So we have to collect, we have to gather, we have to get from different centers. So once, and a number of, every time this is a problem. So Vireshwarananji had sevaks, so he would spare 1 or 2 sevaks, go and serve. That's very important. That's why we have shown his photograph. And Atmasthananji, next photograph. I think
Yes,
he was also
Atmasthanji.
very,
Yes.
yeah. Next.
Next is Swami senior monks. Swami Premanandji Maharaj, yes,
Premanandji, I explained it already.
was of more of a conservative orthodox devotee, was once ready to send all the monastics to assist in relief work, and he assured Swami Shardanandji that he alone will look after Thakur Puja and other activities of Belur Math. So Vireshwaranji, yeah, we have covered this. We'll go to the next slide. There is for Kshatriyas, a battle that comes unsought is an open gate to heaven. For sadhus, brahmacharis and devotees who are servants and soldiers, warriors and workers of Swamiji Maharaj, doing relief work is the royal highway to receive the grace of Sri Sri Thakur and Ma.
Yeah. So there's a beautiful shloka in the Gita. Shri Krishna tells Arjun, this is a battlefield. This is your duty to fight the battle. You should not shirk away from your responsibilities. If you win, you will enjoy the kingdom. If you die, you will get to go to heaven. So yadruchaya chopapannam swargadvaram apavritam sukina kshatriya partha lahate vidyam vidresham. So our principal Swami Jagdatmanji would always tell, whenever you get such an opportunity, you must grab it with both the hands. So that is Sri Ramakrishna's great blessing. You must do these activities wholeheartedly without any fear. Next
is Murshidabad, Khetri and Murshidabad. I think you spoke about this. Yeah.
So Akhandananji is our patron saint, guardian angel. So how he did his work in Murshidabad, Khetri, in different places of Rajputana and all. So that is how he was like a mother to all of them. Sri Ramakrishna had probably he was the incarnation of Yashoda. There is some similarity to that. There is some reference to that. Anyhow, so Sri Akhandananji would look upon all children as Bala Gopala, means Bala Krishna. That with that attitude he would serve them. Next slide.
Plague relief in Kolkata,
Next
1899. Plague relief in Kolkata. Sister Nivedita and other monks in service.
So this is a well recorded story.
Then there is Atmasthananji.
We are showing some photographs of the old relief activities we have culled. Here you can see Atmasthananji Maharaj and so many others during this partition, riot relief, this communal riot relief. So earthquakes, devastation, all those things we have shown. And here the present Bharat Maharaj you can see in this picture. Bharat Maharaj, Dayanandji. Anand Maharaj, you're able to see?
Yeah. Bharat Maharaj and Dayanandji are walking. They are perhaps going to some relief site.
Exactly.
Then we have Bhuteshananji in a boat. Revered Swami Bhuteshananji Maharaj.
He was in charge of the relief activities. With his bulky body, he was carried with great difficulty on that boat. So he was relief secretary for about 9-10 years, from 66 to 75. Here you can see under the scorching sun. Yeah, next slide.
Some of the rehabilitation projects.
Latu relief, why earthquake? So a lot of houses were built during that period. Huge relief in 1993. This is Bangladesh refugee relief. Refugee.
Yes, refugee relief.
Here you can see the South Indian Chennai Swamiji, our Uddhavananji doing relief, massive relief work in Andhra Pradesh. This is Andhra Pradesh. In 1977, thousands of people lost lives when Muktinathananji and others did massive relief. In 1977, Under Atma Saranji's leadership. And this is a common occurrence in West Bengal. Next slide, that with the boat, complete devastation, earthquake, floods, broken houses. This even today we encounter such. Next.
This is riot relief, I think, or maybe I don't know.
This is
Flood
actually-
relief, yes.
This
Flood.
is why I showed you this. Nowadays in India, NDRF has become proactive, National Disaster Relief Force, and State Disaster Relief Force also, with their sophisticated equipments and all. So that way they have become very proactive. Next, our latest relief reports, relief photos are there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
21 Gadadhar Ashrama.
Center wise, you can just
Yeah.
go on showing.
This is
COVID
Gadadhar
relief also.
Ashrama in Kolkata. Headquarters did relief work, I think, during COVID.
Yes, yes.
And this is in Andhra Pradesh, I believe.
Visakhapatnam.
Visakhapatnam, yes. This is Jalpaiguri in
Yes.
West Bengal. This is Navadvip in West Bengal. Then Patna,
Patna,
all
flood
I
relief.
think during COVID or maybe after that. Yes.
This is the Tanjavur. Vimurtananji is doing a lot of work. now.
Yeah,
Tanjavur,
maybe
in
during
Tamil Nadu.
COVID. Yes, yes.
Yes, yes. Last 2 years, COVID and flood. This is flood relief. This
In
is flood
Chandipur,
relief.
Chandipur in West Bengal.
As I said, Gangetic belt is battered by cyclones. Amphan, Bulbul, all those cyclones regularly happen. So they're going by boat, speed boat.
Yeah.
Next. This is also, they're carrying food. Actually, they're carrying food and
Gaurhati.
distributing food.
Gaurhati.
Gaurhati, Prana, Devkanti Maharaj. Yes.
Kamar
This is a
Pukur.
very common occurrence. They have to go by boats, braving these flood waters. Kamar Pukur.
Kamar Pukur.
Next slide.
Mysuru.
This
Tribal
is Muktidananji
area.
distributing blankets to tribal people in Bilgiri Hills.
Naura.
Naura, this is in West Bengal. Same flood and
Rahada.
Rahara. Yeah. All centers take part actively. This is see waist high, knee high water. Sharda Pit people are doing relief work. Next.
Tamluk.
This is same. Tamlu. Vannatrana means flood relief. Giving food.
Mayavati.
water, everything.
Even
Next.
Mayavati Advaita Ashrama has done relief.
This is COVID relief. COVID relief. COVID.
Then we have Hatam Muniguda in Andhra Pradesh.
Orissa, Raigad.
Orissa, sorry.
Orissa. Tribal people are there. It is completely tribal dominated. This is Ooty.
Uti.
Tribal area. Because it's a winter, it's a cold place. So this is Jamtara. Again, lot of tribal Santalis are there. Santali tribe. This is
Jamshedpur.
Jamshid.
Yeah. Now the philosophy.
So,
Swamiji.
conclusion is that you can read out.
Yeah. Swamiji has given a new philosophy of work for the modern world. All work in the Ramakrishna Math and Ramakrishna Mission is done according to this philosophy of work, which is based on the following principles. Number one, all work is sacred. Second, work as worship. Third, service to man is service to God. Fourth, focus on service to the poor and the downtrodden. And work is a spiritual discipline. That's the fifth principle. Yeah. So
Yeah.
these are
So I think we
Swamiji's
have
principles.
covered.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Yeah.
Maharaj, all the best.
The last quote I'll just read. The history of the Ramakrishna Order's relief services is as old as that of the mission itself. Besides their multifarious, permanent constructive works, from their very inception, the Ramakrishna Math and Ramakrishna Mission have been ever ready to promptly organize ameliorative and healing services whenever the nation has been faced with sudden calamities caused by freaks of nature, follies of men, or scourges of epidemics. Its relief activities have also extended well beyond Indian borders. So I think relief has been a major plank of humanitarian service programs of the Ramakrishna Mission. Wonderful work has been done in the past by our illustrious forefathers. We have to rededicate ourselves to carry on the legacy of relief. So I think end of the slide. So I'll stop sharing. You can now I'll highlight you.
No, I don't know what has happened. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
but
try.
we are not able to see you. Anyway, we can see your window and a map there. So thank you, Maharaj, so much for giving a wonderful, especially the medical activities. Though there was no slide, you gave in a gist of a bird's eye view of all the inspiration behind all our medical hospitals, medical activities, and later on the relief activities, which is going on all over India and some other parts of the world like Fiji and other centers are also doing. So we once again thank you for your excellent presentation on this very important occasion of the 125th anniversary of the Foundation of Ramakrishna Mission. So we hope to see you again in some other sessions. We are planning to have these sessions, some more sessions. In throughout the year, we'll be having some sessions, some different sessions. So hope to see you again. Thanking you once again. We are very grateful on behalf of the Ramakrishna Vedanta Centre UK. We are very grateful that you gave a bird's eye view of all the relief and rehabilitation and the medical activities for the benefit of people who are watching this webinar from different parts of the world. Thank you once again.